back once again with another Rescue Bots short review for Radio Free Cybertron. I am Amy,
Hi, I'm Nick.
and we had 2 episodes again this
Again.
week.
Yeah,
We weren't
yeah,
quite sure what was going to happen with them, so it made it pretty clear once you started watching it that this is the season finale. Woohoo!
exactly. And it was a very good season finale.
It
Good
was.
two-parter.
It was. The first one was called It's a Bot Time, and that's the first one we're going to go through right now. Basically, they find another little secret passageway down in the tunnels, and they find a time machine within, and it moves pretty quick, but
Yeah.
um, uh, Doc has to find a way to power it up. And so once he does, he calls all the rescue bots, and they all show up, and they're like, okay, let's turn it on, because that's always a good idea, right?
Yes. Hey, we don't know how this works.
Yeah.
Let's play with it.
And they sent Dither because they want to see if it actually works. So they're going to send Dither, this little spherical little guy
Yes.
with a face on it that has hands and no body
It
and
looks
floats.
like Doc Green, but in, or
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
in a
just
circle.
it's kind of like a little,
It's a helper bot.
it's a helper bot, yes. In previous episodes, we've seen the dogs chasing after Dither. So, but yes, Dither goes into the future, and as soon as he goes through the portal, something goes wrong, and all of the rescue bots have sucked into it as well. And of course, it just so happens that the kids were in there just in case there was an explosion. They wanted to have the kids safe, so no one else was in them but just the kids. So the kids and the bots go into the future. And things are really
Well, they
not
go
what they
into the
expect.
past.
Oh, that's right. Duh. They go into the past. My bad. They go into the past, and
You're
in the
thinking
past.
Back to the Future.
Yeah, I know. This is because that's what it was inspired from, right?
Yes, it
This is what I was
was.
thinking about. Oh, they went back to the future. Yeah. And in the past is Dr. Morocco. Ooh. So we have Tim Curry back. Yay!
And, well, the thing is, we find out why he's always young looking for being so old.
Yes, we do. He's in some sort of machine, and he's actually old even in the past. So,
Yeah, so it's just like, they said it was
okay.
about 50, and so I calculated, at this time, he's probably 135 years old
Wow.
in the present time Rescue Bots.
Wow. Okay, well, that breaks your brain, doesn't it?
Yeah,
He's
so Dr.
definitely going to
Morocco-
be the all-time bad guy that will probably be coming back again, because
Yes.
there's more questions to ask about this guy, right?
Yeah, Dr. Morocco, let's just say, gets around and around
And around.
around.
So yes, Dr. Morocco is in the past, and he sees, of course, the bots, and he's like, "Oh, this is a great opportunity to rip off more tech, right?" Hence the reason why he's able to stay alive is because he keeps on ripping off tech, and he's using that to keep himself alive. Anyhow, more stuff that happens basically in the end is that we get a nice little flashback of some people that we've never met before, like Miss Nederlander.
Yeah. She's
And
a
her
little girl.
cat. Yeah. And was the mayor in the past? I don't remember if he was in the past.
Yes. No.
No,
He's in the
no,
next. He's in the next episode.
he's in the next episode.
In the
Okay.
future.
Yeah, well, so it was really cool to see like people that we have seen in the present in the past. It was kind of cool.
A lot of the people that were in the Hall of
Oh yeah, the Hall of
Inspiration.
Inspiration were there. Yeah,
that were
like
in the- yes.
the lady that Frankie is got her middle name named after was there.
Yeah.
She was one of the scientists that was helping out Dr. Morocco, but she's not loyal to him. I thought that was awesome. I was like, yes, you go, girl.
It was just really fun because they have all these like gadgets, like an old dial telephone. They didn't know what the kids didn't know what
Yeah,
that was.
they had no idea what it was. They're like,
They're
what is
talking like
this?
we'll have to link them to satellites. They're like, I don't think they have
There's
satellites.
not an internet cafe. There's no satellites. There's nothing because they were trying to find Dither at the same time because he was programmed to avoid everybody once he was on the other side of the portal. But luckily, Frankie had this little thing on her wrist that also helps like project holograms, so they're able to get away from the people that when they get to the future or to the past. And what else? Let's see. They were able to, like, she had a password thing that she was able to break into
Yeah.
Dither that way to get him back.
She's
But
a smart kid.
yes,
She's a
she
smart kid.
is. She is. Ultimately, the kids do make their way back, even though the bots have been, they've been doing all of these tests and stuff like that. Transform again, again, again. So they're
Yeah.
transforming over and over and over and over
Poor
again.
Plates.
Yeah, I
He's like,
know. He's like,
oh.
please save us,
Plates
please.
just wants his TV. Come on.
But the kids get back just before Morocco was going to open them up and start tearing stuff out and find out how they
And
work. It was like, oh gosh, I'm
that was
so
kind of
glad
creepy because
the kids showed up. Yay.
it was really creepy. So
And once they get there, they use Dither to short out the huge magnetic mechanism that's keeping them stuck to the wall,
yeah,
so they can't like fight and stop from getting ripped to pieces. And that shorts Dither out, but the kids don't see that. And once they have the bots free, they go back to where they were able to go through the portal, and the female scientist lady covers for them, and they go back to the present.
go back to the future.
Yeah, but when they
Yeah,
get there, da
it's
da da
Back to the Future
da.
too.
Yeah, it's not what they expected. They
Yep,
left Dither behind, and that has consequences.
major
Big
consequences.
consequences, yes.
Mhm.
The part that I did forget is that Optimus Prime and Bumblebee show up
Oh
at the
yeah,
last
they're back.
second. Yes, they call in the when they jump into the past. Um, Chief calls from the present, Optimus Prime, and says, "Hey, this happened," and so because he called in the cavalry, Optimus Prime and Bumblebee show up in the past. They use their energon. They theorize that the energon is what changed something, and it
Yeah.
zapped the bots into the future or the past. And so they do the same thing, and they jump into the past to help the bots. And then when they follow them back, they're like, "Oh, where's Optimus Prime?" And Optimus Prime gets in last second, and so he shows up at the last minute. But then they're like, "Okay, let's go find everybody," and they get back to the present, which is actually not so present.
Yeah. You know what though? I did like that we got actually see Optimus Prime in his form, in Rescue Bot form. I
hmm
really liked that. I thought that was good. So
When my kids were watching it, when Bumblebee and Optimus Prime showed up, my son's like, "Pause it, pause it." He ran into the bedroom, he got his two figures, and came back out with them. And I was like, "Oh, this is awesome."
oh,
So
that's so
I need to get
cute.
more of those for him because obviously he likes watching the show and
Yeah.
having his little figures with him. So he has Optimus Prime and Heatwave. So they were sitting right next to him as he's
Oh, that's
watching the
cute.
show. It was
Oh,
great.
that's cute. That's cute.
So that was that. So the second half of the
Yep.
show was called Bot to the Future.
Imagine
And
that.
yeah, imagine that. So they do a quick little recap. We jump right back into where we left off,
I mean,
basically.
right. Yep.
Yeah. The basically because they left Dither, Morocco got a hold of him, and it now is not called Griffin Rock. It's called Moropolis.
Moropolis, yeah.
Moropolis, and more bots are all
All over the
over the place.
place.
It's not just one. There's several.
Hmm.
And Morocco, he runs the show there. Everybody is there, um, except Doc Green.
Yeah, he's gone somewhere.
He's not there. They can't find him anywhere. And even Chief isn't Chief.
Yeah.
He's just
He's
regular Charlie Burns.
Yep.
Has kids,
Charlie Burns.
but
He actually is a janitor.
yeah, he's a
Yeah.
janitor at the Hall of Inspiration.
Yeah, and
And
all three of his
Cody,
kids are mechanics.
yeah, all three of his kids are mechanics, and there is no Cody. Cody was
Yeah.
never born. I was like, oh my gosh, wow. And
But the one good thing about them being in the future that did not change was good old Mr. Burns
yeah,
had his apron. The
Yes, yes.
apron didn't
It's like it was
change.
really odd that it's like out of everything that happened, he still wears the apron. I was like,
The
oh
apron.
yes,
Yes.
it's got to be his wife's apron. There's got to be a reason for the
I
apron.
know, and I love it. I love that he still wears
Yeah, I
it.
know that was great, and he still cooks. It was great. Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome.
I was so
But
happy to see that. I'm like, oh.
yeah. So once they get there, the kids they're like, "Oh, what happened?" And Optimus Prime and Bumblebee are covering their escape. They're like, "Oh, do you need some help? Do you need help?" No, it's like, "No, we can handle the Morbots. You guys get out of here and go find out what's going on, and we'll find you." So Bumblebee and Optimus Prime split up from the rest of the group, which I thought was kind of cool because I thought, hey, yeah, I mean, it'd be great if they all worked together, but it was kind of cool that they kind of let them go and do one thing while everybody else is doing something else. They go to the Hall of Inspiration to find out what went wrong,
Mhm.
and they figure out that it's Dither, and that's what started it all. So they need to go back and stop that. Um, so the whole rest of the episode is pretty much them trying to figure out how to get back to where they need to go back to the past to fix the present, and
Mhm.
so the future will be what it should be. And so they go to the Hall of Inspiration. They find out all the information. They meet up with Dad, who turns them in. It's like, I didn't know that they were going to hurt you guys, because at that point, Morocco has been waiting for them, and he tells the Morbots that we need to get rid of the kids, so make sure that they go away for a very long time. I was like,
Mhm.
aw,
He's
Tim
very
Curry.
sinister. For for like a preschooler show, it's gonna be
Yes.
kind of freaky.
Exactly. He's a bad guy, man.
He's a bad, bad man. Good old Tim
So,
Curry, though.
yeah, absolutely. He plays this role perfectly. This is
Oh,
what
for
he
sure,
excels at. So it was great
for
to hear
sure.
him have him back. In the end, they meet back up. Or Dad ends up realizing that they're trying to kill these guys. They're like, okay, I didn't know they were going to try to hurt you. I thought they were just going to arrest you. So he takes them home and to some place where they could be safe. And we meet Danny and Cade and Graham, who are all mechanics, and the Morbots follow them and get back to where they actually live in
It's the
the police. Yeah, the
firehouse.
firehouse. They live in the firehouse, and
But
they've
the
built.
firehouse does not look the same.
Yeah, it's
It's
run
run
down.
down.
It's run
Hmm.
down, and they have built this huge vehicle that can
Yeah,
even hold the bots,
hmm
which is cool because they take it with them back to the past, but then to the present, which after it gets fixed.
yeah.
So I was like,
It's like a moving compound.
yeah, I was like,
So
the bots can ride in it, and they're like, oh, this is really weird that we're riding in this, and I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool. And so as they're getting out of there, the Morbots are attacking, and the burns that are supposed to be, well, the burns of the present that are the warped alternate present, they cover for them, and they get away, and they're able to get back to where they need to go, and they go back to the past, grab Dither, and then go back to the present, and everything's fixed, and that was what they needed to
But
do.
there's one major change. There's one big thing that changed. The
What was the big
secret's out,
thing?
people. The secret's
Oh
out.
yes, oh yes, that's right. I totally forgot about that because there's so much going on
Yeah.
in in these two episodes. It was like,
Oh, I
okay,
know.
quickly, it's about time. Frankie knows that
Mhm.
they're sentient alien robots, and they
But
find
so
out.
does now that her father knows
Yeah, and when
too.
they get back, Dr. Green's like, really? He was like, no, really. They filled me in. It was cool. I liked how he was like pulling their leg at
That was
first. It
so
was
cute.
great.
That was cute. I love Doc Green at that point. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that was funny.
That was cool. That was cool. So that was the finale. We got
What?
they went time traveling, and Heatwave says they're going to destroy it. So I hope they do.
Yeah.
They came back. Frankie knows about it. Now Doc Green knows about them. And they've got a huge, big vehicle that the bots can even ride in. So
I really
end of
like
the
this
end of the
ending.
first season. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a perfect ending. And, we spent this 10 minutes talking about it, but
Yeah.
there's so much that happened in these 2 episodes.
They really crammed it packed, like
They
full of
did.
just, there I didn't see any continuity problems. They were pretty good about keeping it simple.
I didn't either. So,
Yeah, it was simple enough that because Dither got left behind, that was really the consequence of what happened to the future. So
mhm.
when they took that out, I would you would think that just because at that point, Morocco had actually opened, it looked like he had been fiddling around with
That's
the electronics or whatever, that at least having that much of looking at it, that he might have learned something from that might change a few things. But you never know,
yeah.
maybe that's the reason
I,
why
I'm
he's,
pretty sure he'll be back. He's the bad guy.
yes,
He's the Megatron for this series.
yeah,
So.
he is. Yep. And
It's
I don't
great. You guys need
remember
to be watching it. Yeah, you guys need
I
to
don't
watch it.
remember what happened to Optimus Prime and Bumblebee. They came back to the future. Obviously, they went with them into the
Well,
past
Optimus is
and
the
then
one that
back to
picked
the
up
future.
Dither.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, that's
And
right.
then they said their goodbyes. And
Yeah. Okay. I thought it
yep.
was Heatwave. I thought Heatwave reached down and picked it up, said property acquired or something like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was Heatwave, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
I don't remember
What
what.
happened?
I'm pretty sure they went
Oh,
back with them. I just don't recall if, like, it was just a short mission. They're like, they broke out of the Prime continuity to come play with Rescue Bots for a few minutes, and now they're gonna go back.
that'd be fun if they got the rescue bots onto Prime. That would be
Yeah.
awesome.
I would be really, really, it'd be really cool if they actually mentioned that they went
Yeah.
off on an off mission to help the Rescue Bots. And I'll be like,
Then
yes!
they could have Heatwave and Starscream get into it and be Steve Bloom, arguing with himself. That would be
Hasbro,
awesome.
make it so! Make it so!
Make this happen, Hasbro. Make it happen.
This we decree. Awesome. All right, well, that's probably more than 10 minutes, but
Yeah, but
hey,
it's 2 shows,
it was a
people.
season finale. It had to be really good. It was, anyhow, yes. So if you want a more lengthy review, we will get to this one sometime this fall, because we just reviewed rules and regulations on the Underbase. So check us
Yep.
out over at the Rescue Center on the Underbase. And yeah, hopefully we will continue these reviews, because there's quite a few at the very beginning that we didn't get a chance to cover. So
Yep.
we will be back for the next couple weeks reviewing Rescue Bots the early
Yay.
shows. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well,
Retro.
yeah, retro.
Rescue Bots Retro.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Until then, check it out, and we'll see you around.
Aloha.
Bye bye. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of giggles. I mean, there were a few, but like they were just boom, 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 boom. It was just going so fast. They did a good job with it. So here we go. I don't even know how I intro this stuff.
It's for RFC.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, oh, how do I enter this? It's like,